Here we go. We are live now. We got a lot of people joining us today on TikTok and on YouTube. Shout out to my YouTube audience, guys. This is show number 2 in a 3-week series. Every Monday, we're going to do these live shows to go through the process. Last week, it was a little bit interesting. I found myself feeling really weird. It was kind of a weird place to be, being live, showing people who recently had their houses destroyed, how to start the process of mitigation and remediation. And today we're going to slow things down just a little bit because there's a lot of information to cover. First of all, welcome everybody. Let's remember that if you're joining us today and you have the capacity to make a donation, we're doing a fundraiser on YouTube for the American Red Cross. It's disaster relief for people who kind of slip through the cracks, right? Lots of people have insurance, lots of people have great policy, good friends, resources, but some people are just really down and out from this, so we're here to help them out. Again, these videos, we're not monetizing. We're not here to make any money off this. I feel like it's my opportunity and duty to help give back. So we're going to go through a bunch of information today to help you restore your homes. We were just mentioning to people that were live on TikTok that we got almost 200 years of construction technology we're dealing with in this particular flooding, especially in the Northeast. That is a lot of different changes in construction technology over time. And in this video series today, the live show, we are going to do a few things. We're going to talk about rebuilding your basement. I'm going to rebuild mine as a template, but obviously there's going to be a lot of differences. We'll talk about some of those. We're going to talk about how to avoid having this flood in the future, because building technology does have the answer to this problem. And it's about $2,000, materials and labor combined to get a professional in. Let's just talk about this right out of the gate, because this is like the looming question, right? I'm going to use my wall as a whiteboard today. Why not? When I'm done, I'll just pull up my kills and we'll be able to paint this thing. Your house is like this. This is your basement, okay? And there is plumbing that goes down and meets up with the sewer line. Okay, and at the road, there's sewers that drain into this line as well. When you get 10 inches of rain, okay, the average house building code requires 30% of your property, no more, can be structure, the rest is grass. That's kind of standard. It wasn't always the standard. A lot more dense populations in different regions in the world, especially when you get in New Jersey and New York, okay? But when 10 inches of rain falls, every house now has all that water going down the street, down the gutters, into the sewer system, and then it backs up because the system of the municipalities and the cities can't get rid of the water fast enough. So you end up with all of this water ending up in your basement. 10 inches times 3 gives you about 30 inches of water potential, okay? That's real simple, stupid math, and it ain't correct, okay? This isn't Goodwill Hunting. This is just Jeff kind of breaking it down for you simple. Now, if you're dealing with 30 inches of water, that's a lot of water. And it's going to take a couple of days for the water to go down. I'm going to do a demonstration for you here right now. This is the piece of drywall that I shoved in a pail last week. Last week, I drew the line where the water was. Okay? This is how drywall operates. Soaking wet. Just disgusting. Like, you can punch a hole through that like butter. A few inches above the line, it's still wet and it's damaged, right? But up here, rock solid. This is salvageable. So when I'm talking about you're not in a hurry to deal with your flood, what I mean is, even if the water is this high up on the wall, up here, the drywall is still good, all right? That's why, generally speaking, unless you get a whole basement full of water, we're cutting it 4 feet. One, it's because it's the easiest place to join it, because you're not dealing with a cut in the drywall where it's ½ inch thick. This is tapered, beveled edge here. Makes the retaping process easy. 2, the insulation behind your wall in a lot of cases is 4 foot back. Right? And so the best way to solve this problem is to have it access at 4 feet. If you missed last week's live video, we'll put a link in the video description, okay? You're going to want to see how to tear this apart, because how we open all this up is really the key to moving forward in a timely manner that's really simple, and you can rebuild your own house. So for everybody who doesn't have insurance, protection, and coverage, or you're opting to do this yourself and you're going to try to cash in, whatever your situation, Here's a process for how you can fix your own house, okay? But let's get back to the backwater valve real quick. It's called a backwater valve, a backflow preventer, probably a few other things, all right? Doesn't matter. The basic concept is this. You have a 4-inch wide pipe coming in underneath the house. It's called a lateral. And just when it gets into the house, you're going to have a plumber cut open a hole in your floor in the concrete, okay? And they're going to interrupt the pipe. And they're going to install this box, all right? And the box looks something like this. You got a pipe, okay? There's your box, and there's this big puck thing down here floating on a hinge, all right? And the house water flows this way, out to the city. When you get a massive storm and all the water overrides the system and it all backs up, it's flowing the other direction. And what happens is the water goes underneath this, and this thing slams shut, all right? It's like a submarine door. Bam! No more water coming in the house. $2,000. You can stop this from ever happening again, all right? Consider that as an option. Don't take the extra money you get from the insurance company and take a vacation. Take the extra money you get from the insurance company and solve your problem. Insurance companies are not in the business of fixing what's wrong with your house to keep this from happening again. All right? They're in the 3 strikes and you're out business. They want you getting 3 floods so they don't have to insure you anymore. Completely contrary to common sense. I was in the business a lot of years. They don't care about solving your problem. They simply want to fulfill their mandate is to give you the coverage that you pay for. But if you get 3 strikes, you're not insurable again. Think about it. $2,000, you can keep this from happening. You know the old adage, you don't have to outrun the bear, just the guy next to you. Same thing with flood control. All right? You put that in your basement and your neighbor doesn't. Maybe next time they don't get 30 inches, they'll get 40 or 50. It's not your problem. Everybody in the city did it. Nobody would get a flooded basement. That's just the way it works. You'd have a river running through the streets, but, right? That's not your problem either. So let's just move on. Yeah, I use black marker on the wall. I'll be here for the rest of the day. Okay. That's all right. We talked about drywall. It's salvageable. Cut halfway up. We talked about how to prevent having this problem again. Now, if you're in a situation where you've got to rebuild your house, we have a whole lot of videos on our channel about how to renovate and remodel. We have videos about how to do the whole drywall taping process, how to do painting processes, all the finished carpentry. We're going to link those in the video description after we're done the live show. Okay, so feel free to use that as a reference. Feel free to pop by our channel on YouTube. We got all kinds of schools there. We got almost 500 videos about how to renovate. So if you had bathrooms in the basement or you have an office or something unique, and whatever your situation, we've got solutions to your problem. And if you think you have a unique situation or a really weird house or somebody built it themselves and didn't consult anybody who was in the trades, and now you're trying to stitch it back together, we are going to answer phone calls after I'm done my demonstration today. We're going to go live to the phone. God help us, all right? This is where the fun is, right? How many freaks are going to show up on the phone today? I have no idea. But we're willing to take a risk to help you out. So, we're going to get that information out to you a little later on. Yes, honey.
We got a couple of questions about people who have water coming up from the floors, not the sewer line.
Yes, that is the sewer line. Every house has got a drain in the floor. If it doesn't have a drain, all right, and you had water coming through the floor, then there's a break in the sewer line system somewhere, and the water's simply building up as groundwater and putting pressure on the slab and breaking through. But most of the houses that were flooded have a drain in the floor connected to the lateral that goes to the city mains that picks up all the overflow from all the rainwater on the road. All right? It's all connected. It's designed to have an overflow system in case of a freak storm. It wasn't designed for 10 inches of rain in just a couple hours. In Ottawa, where I live, we had a water event similar to this 12, 15 years ago. My God, I can't even remember now. Same thing happened. Everything was overrun. Okay, water was just pouring in everybody's basements because of back pressure, because the whole city was clogged up, but there was still standing water on the road. All right, it's like trying to create an air bubble in the bottom of a swimming pool. It ain't gonna happen, right? Water's coming in. This valve is the only thing that'll keep you safe. So, first of all, let's just deal with this today. We are going to go back into the construction technology. The best way to rebuild your house. All right. Just trying to categorize this in my brain. If you have a house that when you look at the wall, when you tore it apart, this particular construction is very common. It's very 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, okay? And not so common anymore. They've upgraded the black tar paper on the wall to a house wrap, but they both operate as a vapor barrier, okay? To keep insulation from being in contact with the concrete. If you have house wrap or vapor barrier in your house, you most likely had to tear that out as part of your remuneration to get rid of the sewage. Okay, so you've got to reinstate that. So you can actually take a roll of house wrap and you can feed it in behind the studs and feed it all the way along. Okay, and you can tape it up and hang it again. The only thing it's doing is separating insulation from the concrete. There's nothing technical, it doesn't have to be sealed, it doesn't have anything fancy going on. It's just to separate the insulation from the concrete. Because as you can see, moisture can build up, and that's why this stuff is stuck here. Okay, it's an imperfect system. If your house is older, you might even have like white styrofoam on your wall. God help you. That has to go and it's useless. All right. Take the opportunity to replace it with like a bad insulation or a faced insulation, paper faced. Okay. Most of the folks that had basements were affected in regions where we have vapor barrier. All right. So the first step for us is to reinstall the insulation and the vapor barrier. So we're going to get into that right now. Let me just grab my tools. Get a nice sharp blade. Here we go. Step one, put back the insulation. All right. Now I suggest if you're going to be doing your whole basement, definitely wear a mask for this. Insulation, two major varieties of fiberglass are rock wool, like a mineral wool of some sort. Lots of different companies out there selling this stuff. You're also going to find, and you want to cut around your electrical and remove the insulation from that area so that it fits properly. Okay. And what this company did when they installed this originally is they just tucked this underneath. That made a lot of sense, eh? Anyway, fiberglass and rock wool. Doesn't matter which kind you use. Rock wool, if it gets wet from clean water, it can just dry and be used again. Fiberglass, wet no matter how, has to be thrown out. The difference is fiberglass is a lot more economical. And I've had guys tell me in the past, down where we're from, it's the mineral wool's cheaper. I'm like, yeah, the bag price is cheaper, but when you're comparing mineral wool with fiberglass insulation, the price on the bag isn't the most important factor here. You want to look at how many pieces of insulation, because every stud bag needs a piece. Okay? Fiberglass gets compacted and then wrapped. So it looks about the same size as a mineral bag. Mineral wool will have 8 to 10 pieces, and this stuff will be like 16 pieces a bag. So you get twice as many stud bays filled up for almost the same price. You don't have to be a genius to figure out that this is almost half price, okay? So don't buy the lie. They're priced almost the same on the shelf, so it looks a lot more attractive to buy the rock wool, but you're actually spending a lot more money. Now, to do the next stage is to reinstate the vapor barrier, I need a couple of hand tools. I got a staple hammer, got a nice sharp knife. You need a caulking gun. All right. And if that pail is around here, I've got acoustic caulking. I got a whole team helping out today. I got Eric on the computer. Christina's wearing a mask because until I get this plastic on, it's going to be nasty. Here we go. That's the stuff. There's acoustic seal, folks. Okay. I know it sounds like it's soundproofing, but what it is it's a caulking that doesn't dry, and it air seals the plastic to the framing. All right. Because a good air seal is what's most important for air quality. So I'm going to pull out my plastic. Here's my plastic. Sorry if the sound isn't the greatest today. We're still working with this kind of format. I was unable to secure a good quality boom mic for the basement today. Oh well, we'll all suffer through it. All right. Now, this stuff is 8.5 feet long. All right. And this particular wall is only 8 feet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a piece of the same height that I need. Okay. Now if your knife is nice and sharp, you can just Slide right in there. Now this will fold out and cover the whole wall. Okay? That's how you want to use it. Because when you open this up, it's 8.5 feet long. So you don't want to be running an 8-foot wall of plastic and then fighting with it and cutting it down. Just cut it to the size you need right out of the gate. All right? And it'll be a lot more efficient for you. Now, we're going to come over here with about an extra inch. Okay. Cut the bottom relatively flat so I don't want to have too much extra on the bottom. And boom. Life is that easy. Oh boy. Alrighty. You know what I forgot to do, Christina? I forgot to show a little demonstration. Last week when we tore everything out, I didn't show you about this. The screws. You got to remove the screws before you move forward. Okay? Now there's a couple ways to do it. You can take a drill and you can back out all the screws. Right? Or you can just take a hammer.
Oh boy.
Drywall screws have an incredibly low shear strength. So, and there we go. That didn't work worth a darn. Why is that? Every time I want to show that in a demonstration, it doesn't work. And every time I'm on a job, they just pop right off. All right. Anyway. Maybe if you have a better hammer or better aim, I don't know what it is, but that's hilarious. I got egg on my face. Take your pliers as well. You want to pull out all the brad nails from the baseboards. Okay. Matt, you want to zoom in right here? I'll give a good demonstration. Okay, you just pinch it and then you roll it. That's why it's designed with that curve. Okay.
One more time if you can.
Wow.
I'm joking.
Okay. Gotta love working with my kids. All right. now we're ready to put the rest of the plastic on. And I'm going to show you. If you missed the show last week, we originally cut through the drywall at this height because we knew we would destroy the vapor barrier. And then what we do is we roll up and we fold it off the original joint, which is 4 feet from the ceiling. It always is. Okay. This gives you something where you can connect all this. All right. This is a quick, simple way to hang your plastic. Now, when you're putting in staples, don't be like my son when he was younger. He's learned since. And go like this. There's no value in that. Okay? Trust me. One at the top, one every couple feet, and you're fine. All right? Stop about 4 inches from the bottom. And there's an important reason for that, and I'll show you that in a second. Let me just get the rest of this done. Okay? And we're happy with this. You know, the joke is, here I am, tearing apart my own basement just to rebuild it to show you how to do it. I actually have to rebuild it too. So now, once your plastic is on, if you have plastic boxes like this, you can just cut to the dimension of the box. Okay, these plastic boxes have a raised section on it that actually penetrates the drywall. Okay, you don't have to do anything fancy here. You don't have to tape it. Just adding the drywall is going to create compression. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and take your blue tuck tape, which is rated for damp areas. And in the basement, you might want to just assume your basement's a damp area. It's better safe than sorry. Okay? Always cut while holding the end. It's very difficult to find the edge sometimes, all right? There we go. Step 1 of vapor barrier install. All right. You know what, Eric? The only thing I don't have here is I can't see the comments on my screen.
We've got a bug. I can't see them on mine either, so I'm going to get from Christina's computer today.
Okay, so
I'm just going to have to yell them up.
you just jump in anytime you got a good question for me, all right?
Fantastic. I do have a couple. Joshua G wants to know, where is the backflow valve or the backwater valve typically located?
Okay, great question. Every house.
You might want to repeat the question.
Oh yeah, okay, good point. So the question is, where does the backflow valve go? Right? Might as well just use my.
Or like, where where is it located if someone were to change it out? How would they?
Here's my incredible art. So here's the street level of your house. Okay, and in the basement, right as soon as this pipe comes into the house, that's where the backflow goes. The first thing that happens before that pipe goes any further, you don't want it going up a sewer stack to the second floor or to a bathroom first or anything. Right at the foundation wall. So you have a wall, and then you've got a footing that the wall is built on top of. Okay? This pipe comes underneath that footing. They're going to bust the concrete about 8 inches in, and they're going to put that box right here. Okay? That's where it goes. On the street side, 99% of the time. Every once in a while, there's a house on a round corner. Everything's kind of, they cheat and they come on the back door. But most of the time, it's facing the street. All right? Almost everything in the house comes from the street. Okay? Because that's the only place that the city has access to all the supply lines. Hydro, electrical, cable, water, gas. It all comes from the street, which is why you can't build anything on the first 3 feet, because that's the area they use to run all this stuff. But as soon as it gets in your house, that's where you want the box. Okay? Now, check this out. All right. Now I've got this wonderful situation where I've got the 2 pieces of plastic overlapping each other. This is why we cut the drywall the way we did. So we could have a good joint. And just because I'm from Canada, it doesn't mean that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Canadian joke, eh? All right. Take your tuck tape. Now you've got a seam that you can get a proper vapor seal on. Okay? Now, you can't do that if you only cut one place, because then the cut is in the plastic and behind where the stud is. This gets a perfect seal every time. In all the years I was in this business, this is the only system I used that actually did the job of restoring back to original condition. Most crews in the world are cutting corners and cheating there. Okay, but if you want to have a really good vapor seal, which is important, and a lot of people don't give much thought to it, but
That was actually one of the questions. Someone asked, honestly, how important is the vapor barrier?
yeah, okay, so let's do it this way. You saw how much damage was done to drywall with water in close proximity, right? It's because drywall has the ability to absorb moisture and release it again. If your vapor barrier is not sealed properly, let's say we have a hole the size of this roll of tape right here. I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have about a half a gallon of water every day going through that hole, through your wall assembly. Half a gallon of water. And if it's making contact with the studs, that's all the food mold needs to mold out that entire wall within less than a year. Okay? This is not something that's trivial or just to slow down the air so we don't have a draft. This is so important that you're better to have a house with insulation and vapor barrier done properly and no drywall in it, right? Than to cover it up with drywall and just cut corners and go ahead, no big deal, just plastic. Now, if you're in the north, this stuff will keep your house from destroying itself. All right? Vapor is coming from the inside, heading out. 6 months a year, we're heating the basement. Got to be on the hot side, or you're screwed, right? Just sell, move south. If you're not going to do it, you take care of your business, or your business will take care of you.
Somebody else asked the benefits of Rockwell versus fiberglass.
Yeah, we can get into the whole thing. I did a video. I talk about the difference between Rockwell and fiberglass. Okay, people throw that in the links as well. What's the benefit of a BMW versus a Chevette? Remember that old car? If you have a job and you just need to get to your job and go home, it don't make no difference which ride you have. If the goal is to go to work and get home, it don't make a difference. I'll tell you one thing that makes a difference. Every time that Chevette breaks down, it's a hell of a lot cheaper to fix it. Right? I mean, practical versus I got so much money I'm buying Rockwell because, hey, I mean, I don't know. There are very few cases where I would prefer Rockwell over fiberglass. Only if I knew it was going to be exposed to high levels of moisture on a regular basis. and then keep performing as insulation. That's the only time I use it. And that's only on really old houses. I don't really even see any value in a new house. That's just me. Maybe I just blew up any chance of me getting a sponsorship, but if you're fiberglass paint, you should call me because I love you. All right, let's see. One more thing we had to do at the bottom. The acoustic seal, right? All right, Christina, how's TikTok world treating us today?
Good.
You got any questions over there? Did Elle see that? Has a cutter. Oh, well, that sucked. This stuff stings like a mother. All right.
Someone has a question. Do you put vapor on both sides?
On what?
On both sides.
No. You only get vapor barrier on one side of the wall. Okay? That black stuff that we have in behind is not a vapor barrier. Okay? It's just a moisture barrier. Water comes in 3 states: solid, liquid, and gas. Okay? In liquid form, that black tar paper keeps the insulation from making contact with the water that can accumulate on the back of that wall. Different seasons of the year, different humidity levels. The plastic keeps the water vapor from passing through the wall when we're heating a basement. All right? The only time we do it with ice, the solid form is on the roof. That's not in today's video. But water and vapor need to be addressed differently because we want to control vapor from passing through the wall in the wintertime. And we want to control the insulation from being in touch with water in the liquid form, okay, in the liquid state on the other side of the wall. So that's why we're using 2 products. They're not both vapor barriers. If you use 2 vapor barriers, you're going to trap that moisture that gets past all of your construction in that cavity, and it'll just rot it out. All right?
Someone just said about 2 years ago they had to do this. They did it all DIY as per your videos.
Cheers. Hope it helped. I'd like to think that we're changing the world one house at a time. All right. Let's do one more thing before we go any further. Because next I'm going to show you how to do the drywall and the acoustic seal. First of all, the reason you don't staple below 4 inches. All right. Here, let me just do it this way. This is a great technique for people who are just learning this stuff for the first time. Roll your plastic up. Throw an extra staple in it on the stud. Every few feet or so. Get it out of your way. Okay? Because this stuff is messy. Generally, we only use it when we don't have any flooring around. So I am rolling the bloody dice here. Here we go. And you're going to apply this all across the bottom plate. Okay. And the reason we're doing this is to seal in that bottom plate, because just because it's a 2x4 doesn't mean it's straight and flat. And the drywall compressed up against that framing is not necessarily going to be enough protection to keep. Wow, please stop leaking. Oh, not on the carpet. Hoorah. I'll just do that right now. Oh, there we go. Now we don't have to have a panic attack for the rest of the day. I was losing sleep over that last night. I got a little bit on the carpet, but WD-40 goes a long way for that, so don't worry about it. Here we go. Now we can take our staple gun. Start in the middle. And the reason I like to have a couple extra inches of plastic here is so that you can guarantee when you put your drywall in that it's plastic separating the concrete floor from your drywall. Okay? Drywall will soak moisture out of your concrete like a sponge. All right? And it'll destroy your house faster than anything else you could do. Few staples. Again, make sure you're making good contacts here. Get in. This stuff doesn't dry. Boom, air sealed. We're almost ready for drywall, guys. Now, because we're filming in my basement and all of the electrical circuits in this room are on the same breaker, I can't take my own advice and turn off the power before doing this. Don't freak out. I will not kill myself. I might get a jolt, but hey. The secret here is, if you're working live, never touch the white and the black at the same time. The tops and bottoms, perfectly safe. All right. is Christina losing it?
Are you sure?
Yeah. I've been doing this for years.
Please be careful.
I've been doing things with electrical that are so wrong on my own house. It's not even funny. It doesn't mean the electrical's wrong. It just means that the process wasn't the most idyllic. So you want to put your tape across the top, run it down the side of the screws. Okay? Now watch. This is really cool. This is the power side. Just press the tape against the screws and then go underneath. Okay? And then you bring it across the white screws. Not a problem. No one gets electrocuted by doing this. Okay? And then back up the hot side again just to make sure that there's no way to contact that screw. Because your only other option is to turn off the circuit, cut all the wires, cap them all, and then you can feed all the wires back into the box, okay? And then you can install the drywall with a cutout tool like a rotozip, but I can't. So I'm going to show you this technique instead because it still works.
And would you suggest DIYers at home using this technique?
Well,
Or should they contact
Just please
a
say no.
professional?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
suggest
just say no.
I'm going to suggest that people find a way to get lights in the room, right? So that they can install all of their stuff with the breaker turned off. Okay? And maybe just rewire all the room. It's not that tricky. But I have to do this because this is the environment I'm working in. Now we're going to do the drywall. Yes. Let's get rid of this demonstration over here. Just to be clear, I'm not advocating to play around with live electric. I'm simply saying, I'm a grown-ass man, been doing this for a lot of years, and there are workarounds in the real world that we use. Not everything has to be, how shall we say it? Is there a polite way of saying it, or
There's
should
no
I just
polite-
shut up?
No,
Yeah, there's
just
no-
stop.
I'll just shut up. All right. Oh, okay. Now, time for drywall. Here's the thing. Okay. Before I go forward with the drywall, I want to do one more thing. Grab a handful of screws, guys. Okay. Go find every stud. Drop a screw just above it. That's how you mark where the wood is. Because when you put that piece of drywall there, you can't tell where the wood is. So this is how you mark
Good tip.
it. Okay. That was right on a screw. All right. So all we got to do. Piece of cake. All right. Now, we're going to take our pencil and we're going to just simply measure from floor to the joint all three locations, right, middle, and left. All right. And I'm going to go 42 and a half. That's comfortable. 42 and a half is comfortable. 42 and a half is comfortable. 42 and a half it is. So, let's introduce our drywall sheet. Okay. Drywall's 48 inches, generally speaking. If you go to the local box store, it will be. If you go to a commercial supplier, you can get 54, but that's very rare cases you'll need that. 48 inches, and I'm doing 42 and a half. So I'm taking off 5.5 inches. Right? I didn't bring my blue square today. Yay. I get to show you another technique. So you hold your knife. Good to have an Olfa knife, okay? You pull out your tip. Put your thumb on the inside of that tape measure. You hold this here. And then you put your other finger over here where 5.5 is. All right? You simply set it and score it. Done. Snap. And release. Okay. Now I'm going to save this for later because I need about 1 inch or so of this the other end. This wall is actually 81 inches. Imagine that. The one place I picked to do this demonstration is 1 inch longer than the drywall. Some of you are going to say, well, sorry, Eric?
Yeah.
Internet connectivity problem?
Not that I can see. I'm hardwired.
Okay, I'm supposed to be mirroring your screen, and I've got something weird coming up here.
We've had some bugs with the chat coming through on this.
Yeah.
So I've been doing the chat over here on Christina's computer. So it might just
All
be
right.
buggy, but
Guys, can you just confirm
Oh,
on the
yeah.
YouTube that we're live? Just go, yeah, we're good. I've never seen this screen before. That's kind of bizarre. I'm looking at Amazon.
Real Phoenix is going, we're good here.
Okay, well, that's fine. No, that's the important part.
Yeah.
Point is I've got an 8-foot sheet of drywall, and I need 8 foot 1 inch of wall. So I got some work to do. Now, a lot of you are like, well, dummy, why didn't you buy a 9-foot or a 10-foot piece of drywall? It all comes down to this. A large majority of basements, you can only get an 8-foot sheet of drywall into. If they have turns or bulkheads at the bottom of the stairs because of the way the structure is carried, you can only get an 8-foot sheet. So make sure you kind of map that out ahead of time. Don't just go to the store and buy 20 10-foot sheets. If you can't get in the basement, that's your day wasted going back to the store and switching it out, right? All right. Now, I told you earlier that the reason we set this up is because this is the tapered original drywall. The old paper tape was removed. But this is now 1/2 inch cut. So what I want to do is I want to flip this upside down. This is going to get interesting in this room because this is a really tiny space.
Jeff, can I help you flip that?
It's actually easier if I do it myself, actually.
Okay.
Just watch the mic.
Oh boy.
Oh, he did it.
What a guy.
Hey.
What a guy.
All right. Now. Wow, this is a lot of family fun, eh?
What on earth are you doing?
Now I've got the right side up. It's a hell of a lot easier than cutting the bottom 4 inches, I'll tell you that right now. Now, everyone's having a lot of fun with this, eh? Now the key is for me to cut the hole for where this electrical box is before I install, right? So we want to measure from the drywall edge down. I got a measurement here of 26 and then 30. And the box itself is 2 1/4 inch wide. And it is a measure from the right wall because that's the one I'm going to be installing against. 46 and 48 1/4. So, about here, 26 and 30, 46, 48 1/4.
Someone's asking.
Bring it on, bud. Got
Someone
that
asked,
all day in my sleep.
don't you want to cut the edge away from the floor when there's potential water to be absorbed?
No, because the paper on the drywall makes no difference.
Can you repeat that for the mic?
Yeah. Someone asked if we wanted to put the paper wrapped edge on the floor because there's potential of water. And I'm like, no, there isn't. The paper doesn't provide any protection against water. So if you get another standing water issue, you're just as screwed if it's cut or brand new. That's why we left the plastic a little long so that we're setting this drywall on plastic. So we never have our drywall in contact with the concrete. So it's only in contact with the air. And the air is consistently about the same amount of dryness from the floor to the ceiling year round. So we're going to be good. Well, bring us over here now. And we're going to use a good old fashioned drywall saw to cut this hole. All right. And to be honest with you, give yourself a little bit of mercy. Measure this, about the same size, and cut on the outside. You can always go to the store and buy a larger cover plates for your rebuild. Okay, so it's not an issue. Give yourself a little bit of mercy without being too obnoxious. You'll be fine. Here we go. That's why I did the plug, laid it flat like that. Okay. I gotta get past my baseboard here. I'm loving that. Now we're gonna need this, okay? This is a rasp if you need it. It's also a lever. Especially if you're working alone. I know a lot of you guys, whatever friends you have, are probably all in the same neighborhood with the same problem. So if you're working alone, that's how you lift the drywall up, nice and flush. Close this gap. It'll save you a whole day's worth of taping. Okay? That's why we cut it back and then peeled the bottom off and got a brand new finished edge of drywall to work with. Because it saves you a lot of time and energy. while you're under that pressure, put in the drill. Now, that's a regular Phillips bit. Consider buying a dimpled bit like this. Okay. We'll add these tools, Eric, to our restoration.
Yeah, we had a section on the store.
Yeah, we've got a section in our store on Amazon, guys, where you can buy all the tools. We're going to update this a little bit later, so you can always check it again later. I put this stuff together on the fly for the crews. It's actually kind of rude. All right, and this is not set for the right depth. Great.
A couple of rapid fire questions coming in here.
Shoot,
Cap. How far is the gap between the floor and the bottom of the drywall would you recommend? And please
Quarter inch. Yeah. Someone asked, what kind of gap between the concrete and the drywall? Quarter inch is fine. Okay. Now, because you're putting in flooring in a basement, and in most flooring you do in a basement, if it's not carpet, it's going to be an expansive and contraction issue. Think from the end to the beginning, okay? If you're putting in a laminate or something else that expands a lot, then you could even put the drywall 1 inch off the floor. Doesn't matter. Makes no difference. And then that increases the amount of space that floor can expand underneath the drywall even. So not just the baseboard. It can go under the baseboard and under the drywall. You can get a full inch of space hidden, which is amazing. That's an option.
Someone's asking, why are you doing this with carpet on the ground?
I live here. So the reason I'm doing this with carpet on the ground is because I live here. And I'm not tearing out the carpet for the purpose of the video.
You didn't actually have a flood. You're just showing this.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't actually have a flood. I live in Ottawa, Canada, and we didn't feel the effects of the hurricane. So I'm showing you the demonstration of how to rebuild, and I didn't need to tear my wall apart. I'm a little nuts, maybe. That just shows you how much I care. Really, guys, it's just about showing you the processes, right? Now, look, if you're just joining us, feel free. If you're in a position, you can help out. We're raising funds, American Red Cross. Link is in the video. There's all kinds of different levels of victim of this storm. And I'll tell you right now, the ones who suffer the most are the ones who are renting basement apartments from somebody else, right? They don't get a whole lot of help. So they're relying on the goodwill of all you guys out there to help chip in. Help give them somewhere to sleep. Replace everything that they had that was doing the garbage as well. I know it's a sad state of affairs because renters should have content insurance. And if you do as a renter, then everything that was swept out from that storm would be covered. But most people, in my experience, when you're broke, you get contents insurance so that you qualify to get your apartment. And then the day after you cancel it because you don't want to give away that $30 a month. Because that's money you bloody well need. And then when something like this happens, you're on your own. And you can't blame them for it. So feel free to chip in, guys. Appreciate all the help you can give. So here we go. Now, this is the best part because I'm almost ready to tape. We're doing this live. My God. You know, if I wasn't doing a live show, I probably would have had a whole basement done by now. But it doesn't take very long. Do all one process at a time, right? All the insulation, all the plastic, all the taping, all the drywall, then all the taping. One Saturday, done. Next day, football. Watch Sunday football. It's not a big deal. All right. The next live show, we're going to be talking about flooring, different floorings for basements. Okay. We're going to talk about subfloor systems as well. If you haven't got to this part of the development yet, you might be interested in that. Maybe when you opened up your wall, you found your basement was an absolute disaster and you want to rebuild your walls and start from scratch. There's all kinds of information out there for that. So we'll deal with a lot of that information next week. We're also going to show you why we cut the square out. Here's my paint sample. I'm going to go get that paint match done. I take that piece of cardboard from this sample box right here, take it to any paint store nowadays. Everybody's computerized. You say, here you go. They put it under a scanner. They go, boop, boom. They got your paint match, okay? You're going to paint your wall with exactly the same color that's on your wall, the same sheen and everything. Absolutely brilliant, okay? Now, in just a minute, I'm going to give you a couple of quick drywall taping tips. As soon as I feel like I got enough screws in this wall. There we go.
Jeff, do the studs go all the way to the concrete, or is there a material in between?
Well, at this point right now, the studs go all the way to the concrete. If your house has pressure treated lumber as a bottom plate, you don't need to have plastic or a sill gasket. That's still accepted in a lot of areas. Most houses have a plastic underneath the wood to separate the concrete and the wood. So there's no direct transfer of moisture. What we have, if you come down here, Matt, here's our leftover plastic from the vapor barrier. Still sticking out. Okay, I cut it a couple inches long on purpose, so I have an absolute guarantee the drywall's not touching the concrete. And the plate should have the same thing installed when the house was built. If when you open up your wall and it didn't have a vapor barrier and it's in an older house, you'll know because the bottom plate will be rotted right out and you'll have to replace that too. And that's fine, you can do that, right? You can just cut it one little section at a time and put it in 2 or 3 foot pieces and then reattach the bottom legs together with long screws. It's not a big issue. Okay? Now, let's, where the heck is my taping tools? Are they still upstairs? The bucket with the couple of drywall tools on it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Christine, you got any questions for me? Man, is it ever warm down here all of a sudden? What's going on?
Should I open the windows a little bit?
I'm almost afraid to, but
Air conditioning is on.
well, let's
Open the door.
open that bad boy up. Oh, let me just check my notes here, guys. Make sure I'm connecting all of my information. Wall assembly. Oh, don't forget, in just a few minutes, we're going to go live to the phones. All right. So if you got questions about your house, yeah, and you know, because of what's going on here, we're going to be able to share that information on our YouTube channel only. So guys on TikTok, sorry, but I can't just share that phone number everywhere. If you want to get in on that action, then you've got to get over onto the YouTube channel. And then if you got a question, I'm happy to help you. Okay. Good. Loving it. All right. All right. Here we go. Now, there's going to be a ton of information I'm not going to give right now. First of all, where I'm from, our mud comes in boxes. Then we have to put it in a pail. We have to add water, and then we mix it. All right. In a lot of places, you get the mud in the pail, but you still have to add water and mix it again. Trust me. We got videos and all this stuff. Okay. So check out our channel. You get all that information that you need. Here's a basic tutorial for how to tape and not run into problems. Now, for anybody who's watching, who's done a little bit of drywall work, you have that question burning, how do you keep the tape from bubbling? Here you go. Ready? Drywall taping 101. I'm going to try to do this clean so I don't get it all over my carpet too. Okay? You're putting on a lot more than you need off the side of the knife, flattening it out. All right? That's it. Oh, that's weird. Okay.
Someone asked about drywall touching a concrete wall. Does it need to have a gap?
Okay, rule of thumb. Drywall should not come in contact with concrete anywhere in your home, ever, whatsoever. Amen, so help you God. Okay? Just don't do it. Whatever it takes to make sure that that never happens, that's your job. There's no formula where drywall comes in contact with concrete. That's a healthy scenario. Only the last 20 years of construction technology have we made the walls and flooring with a vapor barrier so that the organics of the earth around the house and the dirt underneath the house can't transmit water vapor into the concrete. Only the last 20 years. Having said that, have you ever seen the guys that work on these construction crews? You can't trust that it's a perfect system. All right? Even if you've got vapor barrier, treat it like you don't. Because your house goes moldy, you're not going to call the concrete company and say, hey, you built my house 20 years ago and made it moldy. You're done. It's on you. So treat it like as if nothing ever happened. Look at this. Gentle pressure, okay? This is not about trying to prove how strong you are. This is called bedding the tape. I think the reason they called it bedding the tape is to give it that feeling of, it's really not a difficult thing. I don't want to see you scraping all the mud out, all right? Because that's destroyed. That'll definitely bubble.
Someone asked,
See the back of this tape here? It's all dry. Too much pressure. Just bed the tape. Set it in there. It's nice and easy. Hey, Eric, go ahead, man. Question time.
John Healy asked, is there a trick to speeding up drying of drywall compound?
Yeah. There is a way to do compound real fast. They sell compounds on the label. It'll say 5, 20, 45, or 90 minute. That's generally working time. There's a hardener compound in there. You add water to the powder. You mix your own compound. It dries faster. If you've had a flooded basement and you're taping, as a homeowner, you're doing 1 coat a day max, okay? You're not in a rush, trust me. Now, if you are in a rush for whatever reason, you can use that kind of compound and turn on fans and dehumidification equipment in the room, and you can do a lot faster. You get 2 coats a day. You use 90-minute mud with a fan, okay? So now I'm just cleaning. Gentle pressure, right? No big deal. Get rid of all the extra mud. Because a clean taping job requires less mud for you to fix it. If I leave a bunch of mud here, it dries. Then I have a surface that's raised off the wall of dry mud. Now to make the wall flat, I've got to trowel mud from here to here to fix it. And that's insane. So just get enough on there to get it flat, all right? Now you take a little bit of mud and you wet the front surface of the tape. Okay, and gentle pressure again. And just clean. That is how you keep your tape from bubbling. Professional drywallers have special tools that run the tape through a bucket of mud, and it makes both sides wet with mud. All right, and it works great. It's $800. I wouldn't suggest for the average homeowner to spend that money. Okay, you can do that and get just as good a result, and you can save that $800. All right, now it's done, it's bedded, it's set up so that there's enough moisture on both sides that it's not going to bubble, okay? The only thing left is the screw holes, okay? If you patch and it's covered, great. If you do this and you see the screw head, it's not deep enough. Grab your drill and sink it just a little bit more. Sometimes a quarter turn is all it takes. All right, nice and simple. Oh, hear that? Okay, that screw's way too bright. Don't be one of these people that does this. Okay, to solve your problem. That's just a mountain of mud. All right, clean it off, grab your drill, or have a screwdriver in your back pocket when you're running around mudding. Okay, there you go. See all this? Now this is because I used an impact driver without a depth setter. All right? It's not a perfect system by any means. Okay? And it'll take a lot more time. For the purpose of this video, I actually went back to the regular drill bit just so I can cause myself some problems and show you how to fix them. All right. Okay?
So you did that on purpose so you could show.
Well, yeah, like, you know, because listen, I don't expect everybody to go out there and buy every single tool on the market. It's not necessary, right? But you're going to need a 4-inch taping knife, okay? This is very simple. What else are you going to need? For later on, when you watch these drywall videos, you're going to need...
Do you have videos on how to mix up that mud? Some people are asking.
I got videos on everything, okay? well, we're going to link the daylights out of the video description. Here's your trial. You could spend a couple hours watching videos on how to do this straight, okay? There's all kinds of information. 4x10 stainless steel. You can get it not at Home Hardware. They don't sell stainless steel good trowels. They sell carbon steel. Probably good enough for you if you're just doing one basement. But if you're thinking, when we learn how to use a drywall taping tool, I might as well have a side gig and become a taper. Get a good one. It's about another $30 more. Okay, this is around $65, $70. All right, a 4-inch and one of these, and you can do the whole job in the basement. You don't need a whole variety of tools. You know what I'll show you is I'll show you how to do an inside corner. Nah, just watch the video. Let's get on with it.
Do different climates require different kinds of drywall mud?
No. Everybody can use all-purpose drywall compound. The secret here is that we live inside the house and we condition our homes. We air condition in the summer and we heat condition in the winter, right? So we keep our relative humidity pretty constant. So conditioned space only needs one kind of compound. If we were working outside, then there'd be changes in every different direction, but we're working inside, so we're good.
Awesome.
All right, now, are you guys gonna send out that phone number now?
I can do that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's set up the phone number.
Can you remind people that?
Yeah, okay, so yeah, if you're watching us live on TikTok, and by the way, Christy, do we know how many people are watching?
Yeah, there's been about 170 coming and going.
Oh, fantastic. Guys, listen, if you want to make a phone call, you got a really weird situation, happy to help. Like I said, let me just go through the different construction technologies to give you an idea, okay? Turn of the century, let's go 1800s, all right? Basements were dug out, they were stacked stone foundation, just stone on stone on stone. There's an interior stone wall and an exterior stone wall. Interior stone wall held up the floor, trees, floor joists, and the exterior wall held up the walls and the roof. They worked independently of each other, okay? That's a very unique system. We get out of that construction into the early 1900s, and we started using bricks in the foundation. Red brick, unbelievable. Then they went to cinder block, okay, in the 20s, 30s, up to the 70s, we're using cinder block. At some point, they changed to poured concrete foundation. The foundation, the concrete floor you actually have, there was a difference. Once it was on dirt, then it was on clean stone, and then they actually started using a vapor barrier between the stone and the concrete, so the basements were drier. Up until about 20 years ago, we started actually putting waterproof membranes around the outside of the house before we backfilled. So there's a lot of different variations going on. That's why there's really no just one way to finish a basement. Because if you have a basement from 1905 or a basement from 2005, I'm going to give you different advice on how to finish it, okay? There's not a single contractor in the world that can say, this is my system for basements, I use it every time, works every time. He's a liar, okay? Because that just doesn't work, all right? It's just like, you can't have one auto mechanic say, I know how to rebuild everything in your car, but I only studied Fords. You don't go there with your European car, you're done. Like, it doesn't exist, right? I don't have a better analogy. All right, let's just do this. Phone lines are open.
Yeah, the number's out there.
No, the number's out there.
There's a phone up.
Well, I'm assuming it is.
It's plugged in.
Missed calls. I have no idea. Why don't one of you call me just to double check this thing?
We checked it.
Yeah, we did check it, didn't we?
We did.
All right. There's also a delay, so it can take a minute. Listen, if you call and the line's busy, because it's busy.
And make sure you're back.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Talk and speaker and
Oh.
was that you?
Nope. It's probably
Did I do that wrong? Huh. Let's try that again, shall we? It's really not supposed to be that difficult. Hit the talk button, hit speaker, and then we talk. Please don't give up on me. Yes, I use tools for a living and I don't use technology, but this is just a bloody phone. We should be able to make them. Okay. Hello, Jeff here. Who am I speaking to?
Hello.
Hi.
Is this not the show?
Yeah, this is the show. It's Jeff from the Home Renovision DIY. You got me, dude.
There's a delay.
That's okay. Yeah, listen, if you're watching at the same time, you're going to have to mute your device because it'll drive you nuts.
Okay.
Yeah. I should say
My
that.
question for you. You ready?
Yeah, buddy. I'm ready. All ears.
So I just redid my bathroom a little bit ago,
Okay.
and I put what was it? It was 12 by 24-inch porcelain tiles. Put them all up, based on your videos and stuff, and then painted the walls. Then I realized I forgot to put like the bullnose trim on the edges. So now I just have tile transitioning to a wall with the edges caught. What would you do in this situation if you wanted to like add trim? Would you add bullnose, just glue it on?
Okay, so you're talking about like the plastic edging?
Yeah, I don't. Most times like you put the edging on first,
Yeah,
and then you tile on top of that, so you have a nice edge piece.
right?
I forgot to do that. I just didn't even think about it.
Okay, so yeah, you're in a bit of a pickle. Do you own an angle grinder?
Yeah.
If you take an angle grinder and a vacuum and you sink it in behind the tile where your thin set line is, and even into the drywall if you have to, you can cut a 1/2 inch deep trough in behind the tile. All right, and vacuum while you go because it's going to be messy. And then you can take your plastic trimming and you can cut the backside of your plastic in half and then install that with like a silicone if you have to. And you can fake it after the fact. Okay.
Do something like that. It's a cement board because it's in the shower.
Yep. No, that's fine. So that'll work. And then all you got to do is just throw some painter's tape on the edging to the tile until overnight when it's all set up, and then you're good to go.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Fantastic. Hey, happy to help, man. Cheers. Bye. Hey, and as a reminder, let's try to keep all the questions and content today to the relevant factor at hand. We're talking basement renovations. I'm here to help you with that specifically. If nobody wants to talk about basements, we'll talk about whatever else. All right. Hello, you got Jeff. Can you turn off your other device and who are we talking to?
Hi, this is Morgan. I'm in the Northeast, New Jersey.
Yeah, hey, Walden, how you doing, man? You got yourself some flooding action, did you?
Yes, I did.
Well, is this your first time? First time getting a flood in your basement?
Yeah, first time getting a basement. Just moved to the house.
You just moved to the house and oh, wow.
Yeah, never lived in a house before, apartments only.
All right.
So this is my first rodeo.
Okay, so first home ownership, you got a basement now and you had a flood.
You're right.
All right, so where are you in your process, buddy?
Right now, I'm still in the draw out stuff. I kind of took the molding away from the wall to give some kind of air because it has the wood paneling, that old wood paneling thing.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah. So I haven't taken that off yet.
Okay.
It's me and my old lady.
Yeah, I got you. Now, Walden, did you have any insurance coverage for what you're dealing with?
Actually, yeah, we got some. We have some kind of rider in our insurance that actually gave us a little something.
Okay.
That they were even surprised we had it. They like, man, you get almost here shut.
All right. So did they just cash you out, or did they send in a crew to take care of remediating your basement?
No, they just take some pictures. We send what's the guy, the adjuster over. He was over here.
Okay.
Yesterday.
Oh wow.
Just took some pictures and stuff.
And is this for content insurance or is this for rebuilding the basement structure?
Question mark.
Okay, so that's a good question to ask your adjuster. Do you have contents insurance or are you covered for rebuilding the basement as well? Because at this point, they should be advising you to remove as much of the flooring and walls as you can because all that water came through the sewer system. Did you see our live show from last week, Walden?
Yeah, I saw some of it. I was thinking stuff out, kind of.
I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you some, I know you have a specific question. Let's ask that first, and then I'm going to give you some follow-up advice, all right? Go ahead and ask your specific question.
Okay. One thing is, this tile on the floor, that stick and peel stuff.
On the floor?
First, the major thing is this, the house was built in 1940.
Okay.
So, as I'm putting stuff back onto as I'm taking this old wood paneling stuff, as I'm putting back, what is the, because you were just saying, like, you just can't, one size doesn't fit all.
Yes, right.
Right. So I got the cinder blocks. I can tell because the other side is not finished. And it has the cinder blocks,
Okay.
Basically, and then there's this tile on the floor that looks like it's not coming up for nothing. It looks like it's part of the floor almost right now.
Okay, so hang on before you go any further. I'm gonna give you some safety advice here. Okay.
Okay.
All right. In the 1940s, you have a tape measure with you?
Yeah, not on me right now.
Okay. Yeah. What I want you to do is take your tape measure and measure the size of the tile. All right.
Oh, okay.
If it's 9 inches by 9 inches,
right,
then there's only one tile produced back then that's 9 inches by 9 inches, and it's an asbestos-based vinyl commercial tile, and it's glued to the concrete. Okay.
Yeah.
If you try to take that out, you are breaking that tile up. You're going to be releasing one of the most toxic substances known to mankind into the air. Okay? And those fibers are like fish hooks. They go into your lungs and they don't ever leave. And they cause incredible damage. So I want you to do yourself a favor. Measure that tile. If it's 9 by 9, you leave it alone. It's ugly, but you can put some other kind of flooring over top of it. And that's actually the prescribed medicine for the situation. Okay?
Okay. It's 12 by 12.
It's 12 by 12. You're perfectly fine. No 12 by 12 tiles were made with asbestos. All right.
Yeah, it's 12 by 12.
Okay. Well, then you're good. So then it's just a commercial vinyl tile that's probably newer, that's still in glue. Now you've got a choice. You can take it out if you want to, or you can just go with a new kind of floating floor right over top. Next week in our show, we're going to be talking about all your different flooring options, and we'll cover all that information for sure. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Wow. Try to get that stuff out of your house as fast as possible. Get anything wet out of there, my man. All right.
Yeah.
Watch that video from last week. It should scare you enough to get this motivated done, because you might be getting stinky right about now. You know what I mean? Is your basement starting to have a little funk to it?
I got a dehumidifier rolling. I got the window open when it's cool out and humidity low.
Yeah.
And I close them up when it's hot, warm.
We're lucky it's a good time of year for this to happen, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Because the weather is a benefit. It slows down how fast the bacteria will multiply. All right? But it's still multiplying, right? It's still growing. And so if you don't have a stink yet, then I would suggest just keep on working on getting that stuff out of there. Listen, only 3% of that water was going to be sewage. Like, it's a very small amount.
Right.
But
I don't even know this, because it was coming through a wall. I can't even explain. It was coming through a wall that divides two rooms, like about 5 inches, like the first cinder block off the ground,
yeah.
off the floor.
How much water did you get altogether?
About, I can measure it right here, about 11 inches.
About 11 inches of water.
Points in the basement, like 11.
Yeah. I'm pretty much going to say that in this situation, no one's going to come out and do testing to see if it was sewage. They're just going to say it was sewage. And if your insurance company isn't covering you and you don't tear everything out and you start to get a really nasty stink, that's your way of knowing it was sewage. All right. And you got like 48 hours to finish tearing all that out and treating it with bleach, or you won't even be able to live in your own house. It'll stink so bad.
Wow.
All right. So you stay on that situation. All right. I appreciate, if you can avoid throwing stuff out, I get it. I understand the rationale, but man, if it starts to stink, you got some work to do. All right. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. Well, listen, catch us next week. Okay. We'll talk about flooring options for finishing up. And if you need more information, check the last video from last week about how to tear it all apart. All right. And thanks for the call. We're going to move on and take some more calls right now. But Wilfred, appreciate it.
Do you know if FEMA takes care of that, what you were talking about?
This is a question, you're going to have local representatives. You're going to have to contact their office.
Okay.
But you guys did get emergency declaration. So there is FEMA money available for people who don't have insurance. Okay. So you really want to sort out your numbers there before you move forward.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
All the best to you, man.
All right. Thanks.
All right. Cheers.
All right,
Bye-bye. Damn, you see, that's the thing. That's real world, eh? That's the thing. People, I got an insurance adjuster. We're like 2 weeks. We're almost 2 weeks from the storm, guys, and they still don't have a crew in there to tear out the house yet. And he has insurance. Imagine that. First-time homeowners, eh? My. Hey, it's Jeff from Home Renovision. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Jeff, it's Hot Cheese here. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. Where are you calling from?
Ontario.
Oh, you're even in Ontario. Okay.
Are you in your basement?
Pardon?
You in your basement?
I am in my basement, yeah.
What are you drinking?
I'm just having a little bit of white wine.
Right on.
Yeah.
Have a great night and finish that up and have someone pour you another.
Thanks. I appreciate that. Appreciate the love, my friend. All right. Have a good night. All right. Hey, hey. Now the world's got my phone number. After the show, I do unplug this thing, right? I don't actually use this, so don't even bother trying to call unless I say the lines are open. Like I'm good like this? Okay. Hello, you got Jeff from YouTube. What can I do to help you? And who am I talking to?
My name is Monica for Curbside Home. This is my first time even catching you on YouTube, so.
Okay, Monica. Well, what's your question?
I bought a business. I'm a shelter for homeless.
Okay.
I bought this house. It has a storm shelter that floods. They were trying to turn it into the storm shelter, the basement part of it.
Yeah.
The house. It has a crawl space.
Yes.
It is made out of rock
Yes.
type of formation on site, and it is covered with mold. So we had to abandon the project until we could figure out what to do.
Yeah. So here's the deal. If you have something that's got that much mold, have you contacted an environmental engineer yet?
They said something about condemning it.
Okay, so that's a real easy way to walk away, isn't it? But you don't want to condemn the place, you just bought it.
Yeah.
All right. Are you familiar with our membership program on YouTube?
It is my first time catching
Okay.
on YouTube.
All right, Monica, listen, here's the deal. If you go and check out our channel, we have a join button, a membership program. If you go to the video description, there's links to join our membership program. It's $5 a month. And once you're there, you can go to the community tab on our homepage. All right. And then you can actually get access to our forum where you can ask questions, send in photos, and I can help you specifically about the situation you're dealing with.
And see, the mold is where the crawl space is.
Of course.
And the pouring.
Yeah, it's real common, right? But unfortunately, depending on how much mold you have, you may or may not be able to save your structure.
And
so if you were to send me pictures, I can help you, but I can't help you over the phone.
Is there a way I can just go ahead and just remodel it the way, bring it up to code? Because it's just where the living room and the first bedroom.
Yeah, the problem with your situation is mold isn't always just by itself. Sometimes there's advanced rot in the structural lumber of the building as well. So what we have to do is I need to see pictures. I need to be able to coach you through how to examine the situation to know if you can save it or not. Okay. But if an environmental engineer is telling you that it should just be condemned, you're probably right on that edge where it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right?
They said they're not even advised it to be burned.
Yeah. Now, if you're willing to do a lot of work, I'd be willing to help you out. Right? Because you got to get that structure to a place where you can have the environmental engineer come back and say, well, you know what? Because of all the work you've done, here's my recommendations. You can move forward and fix it. And I can help you get there. Okay? But I can't help you fix it all by myself. I can just help you get to the place where the engineer will give you some respect and give you a plan. Okay?
Okay.
Because, sometimes it's just easier to say, nah, sorry, I don't want to touch that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I want to, have you ever heard of somebody's storm shelter getting converted into a basement that floods?
Anything is possible.
There's a tornado that comes.
Right?
Floods.
Anything is possible, but you've got to have a good plan. And most plans to convert structure from one use to another require an engineer. And before you can get a structural engineer in there to solve that problem out, you got to get your environmental engineer to say that this thing is worth saving. So I know how to work with these people and I can give you some advice. All right. But I'm going to have pictures. We're going to have to talk again, not on the phone.
Okay.
Okay. So I'll keep my eyes out for you, Monica. You go ahead and check that out and I'll be there to help.
All right.
All right. And sorry, life isn't any easier than that, but this is a very complex situation you got there.
Yeah, well, I was either going to try to turn the storm shelter into a working basement office.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll tell you, in a lot of cases, it's easier just to close the door, seal it up, and put an addition on your house.
Or do that.
Yeah. Because it is
We're
a lot.
not-
It's a lot more
and then
cost
that's
effective
what
to add space to your house than
got
if.
too much
Yeah. Anyway,
structure.
I'm going to say it's easier to add space to your house than to fix something that should be condemned. All right. I'm going to wrap it up there. If you need more help from me, join our membership program. I'll be happy to work with you. Okay.
All right.
All right. You take care. Thanks for the call.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, folks. Again, let's deal with storm damage if we can. Or Daddy's just going to say, I'm going for dinner. All right. Hello, you reached Jeff at Home Renovision. How can I help?
Hey, Steph, how's it going? I love your content. Great to see another Canadian content creator. I actually just got my first home here in Mississauga, and it's a 1973 home, and let me tell you, it's got some nasty secrets in the basement.
Everything from 1970s has got nasty secrets.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just peeled the drywall off, and behind it are just absolutely rusted out steel studs. I don't know if the basement was flooded at one point or if it's just ongoing moisture. But basically, what we're dealing with now is just a bunch of rusted steel studs in the basement.
Yep.
No vapor barrier, nothing like that. So we're just trying to figure: should we pick and pull the steel apart and rebuild it with steel, or would you recommend wood framing for basement walls?
Great question. So here's the thing. Your house is built in 1973. That means your floor doesn't have a vapor barrier under your concrete, and it means your walls are not separated by a waterproofing to the earth on the outside, which means in behind your walls is a high level of humidity all year round, guaranteed. And in that high level of humidity, it's enough to corrode that steel stud even without a flood event. It was the wrong material for the wrong house. Now, steel studs are fine in modern construction, but you can't use it unless you've got waterproofing on your walls and humidity control. And you can't control humidity if your house wasn't built for it. So what you got to do is you got to change your strategy back to wood, because wood can absorb moisture and dry out again as the seasons change. Okay. And what you got to do is, I would even suggest using that wood, the blue wood that they sell over at Lowe's there. It's got the concrobium built into that wood there. So you have a constant mold protection. Or you can go through the cost, 25, 30 grand, and waterproof your house. Yeah, there's the laugh, but it's the truth. I mean, those are the options, right? Houses that were built in 1973 were not designed to be finished into living spaces except temporarily for tiki parties in the bar. And that was it. Like, there's just no real long-term solution there. So the only way to control the moisture is, one, add the waterproofing, or build with materials that can withstand high humidity long-term.
Jeff, we really appreciate that. Also, we literally threw a tiki bar in the dumpster when we moved in.
Oh, I'm not surprised. The bloody place probably had wall-to-wall wood paneling too, right?
Correct.
Yep.
Absolutely.
If I had $1 for every one of those basements I had to tear apart, I'm telling you right now, I'd be all right.
And Jeff, I guess the last thing on top of that is just basement kind of stinks, you know?
Yeah.
Everything's out and it still stinks.
Yeah, you won't get away from that, is because all of the building materials down there are just high humidity, right? It's like crotch rot. It's like never changing your underwear. That's the environment your walls are in, right? I mean, and that's just the nasty effect of it. I mean, you're going to have a certain amount of organics. You're going to have bacteria growing. You're going to have mold and fungus growing. You're going to have all kinds of weird things going on. There's a whole ecosystem behind that wall, my friend.
Yes,
Best to start from scratch, okay? And then,
It's rusty too. We
yeah.
appreciate it.
All right. Well, listen, cheers. Thanks for the call. Great to get another call from Ontario. Cheers to Mississauga.
Hey, thank you.
All right. Good luck with your house. Because 73 is a great house. Do you guys have like a bungalow?
It's a semi, you know?
Oh, is it? Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it's a back split, yeah.
Oh, wow. Lots of fun. Yeah, those are even a lot more harder to waterproof. Definitely get yourself a subfloor system.
Yep.
Okay.
Good video. I love the dimple floor with the slide.
Yep. Build your walls on top of that system.
Yep.
Okay, and get yourself an airspace from the back of the frame. Did you see that video where I used house wrap on the back side of the basement walls?
Yeah, I just watched that literally before your live stream. Crazy timing.
That is really going to help to manage the humidity level in that basement. Okay. And yeah, there's really not a whole lot else you can do from that, but you're going to want to put some dehumidifiers down there for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, Jeff.
It's something that's direct drain, not something that fills a bucket and you got to remember to empty it, right? You don't want to have a dehumidifier like a litter box where you got to like weekly deal with it. Just have it drill a hole in the concrete and direct drain right underneath the house.
Yeah, we first put it down there. It was about every 12 hours it would fill up. It's crazy.
Right? So once you seal up the house properly with vapor barrier, you'll separate the air that you're conditioning from the air that's humid. And the house isn't going to deteriorate any worse in a more humid environment. But you got to separate the two conditions before you can finish it. And then you'll be able to be very happy.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, Jeff.
All right, bud.
We're taking notes, so we'll make sure we do it right for you.
Okay, cheers. Awesome. Good luck to y'all.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love getting calls. All right. Hello, it's Jeff from Home Renovision. Who am I talking to?
Hey, Jeff, it's Lucas calling from Edmonton, Alberta. How you doing?
Lucas from Edmonton, Alberta. Man, can you believe we have enough technology? I can talk to somebody in Edmonton real time. That's just awesome. I'm doing great, buddy.
Speaking of technology, this channel has totally changed my life.
Wow.
I am so glad that I found you, and I'm so glad that you are doing everything that you're doing. I just want to say thank you. I do have a quick question for you, though.
Shoot, Lucas, I'm here. All ears.
Okay. Oh, man, I'm so excited to get to talk to you. Okay, so our basement flooded about a year ago.
Okay.
And we tore it all out. It was a horrifying experience, I got to tell you. But we tore it all out and we rebuilt it from scratch based on your videos.
Okay.
We did the tile floor so that if we ever have any more problems, our flooding was caused by actually not by like a flood or anything, but by hydrostatic pressure from the water coming up from beneath the slab between the cracks between the slab and the walls. And
Really?
Yeah, so it was caused by.
So what was wrong with your weeping tile?
Well, it's funny that you asked that. Because
No, it's not funny. It's just what's wrong.
you don't have it.
You don't have weeping tile in your house.
So the plumber, when the builders built the house, the plumber plumbed in a beautiful little outlet and a backwater valve for the sewer, and he ran it outside. And the builders decided that they didn't need any weeping tile, and they filled right over the beautiful setup.
Yeah, I get it. You know what happens? Sometimes when a house is built and they reach those construction phases on a Friday afternoon, they know the inspector's not coming.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
These things happen. Listen, I had a house where they had the weeping tile on top of the footings, the same disaster through the floor.
Yeah.
Because the water level got up past the concrete on the inside of the house and blew through the floor.
Yeah, so that's exactly what was happening to us. So we fixed the big drainage issue that we had on our property that we think was really causing all that hydrostatic pressure to build up. We had an east trough and a downspout draining issue that we fixed.
Yep.
We also had some what do you call it, like the grading around the house issues that we fixed.
Yes.
So my question for you is, Jeff, is that we refinished the basement. We think we fixed some of the major problems. We know we took a chance because we don't have weeping tile. Obviously, if you're going to finish your basement, you'd rather at least know you have the weeping tile.
Well, let me stop you right here. The $1 million question, did you put in a sump pump?
Yeah.
Okay.
We did. Yeah.
Okay.
What I did is I have the sump pump there, and I have some drainage figured out. But here's my question for you.
Shoot.
That if we continue to have problems, is it worth, in your opinion, trying to do an interior weeping tile system in order to save some money? Because it's something that I think I could do myself.
Oh, yeah,
Or-
because the house is definitely connected to the lateral system. You just don't have a tied-in weeping tile.
That's right. I have no weeping tile. Yeah. So
What's the age on your house?
it's 1970s house, just like the last guy.
Okay.
And so what I'm wondering is, if we continue to have problems, do you try the interior system first, or do you go straight to digging up all around your house, put in the
Okay, so do you have a deck or patio?
I have a deck.
Do you have landscaping?
Up the deck. It means ripping up my driveway, ripping
Yep.
up my deck,
Yep.
ripping up fences.
And is your basement finished currently?
It's totally finished. Yeah, we refinished the whole.
So now you're asking if I should have done all that before I finished my basement.
Yeah, basically, but yeah, in a way, I'm asking that. But really, what I'm asking is, do you ever bother with interior weeping tile, or do you go straight to exterior?
So I'm going to give the advice for everybody who's listening. Okay, if your basement is unfinished, the interior weeping tile system is just as effective as an exterior waterproofing system.
Okay.
All right. Now, having said that, it's about the same cost. Do you know why?
Why is that?
Because that's what contractors can get paid for the same job.
Right. Yeah,
They solving the same problem with different techniques. The interior system actually should be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, what I was going to say, Jeff, is I would do the interior one myself.
Yeah.
I know I can't do the exterior one myself, so would it be worth?
Now, here's your problem. The technology that you got to buy to do that interior system yourself isn't available on the market.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay. These are guys that go to trade shows and they get distribution deals to carry certain product lines that got all the technology, and they don't make it available to the general public. So now you're in a situation where you got full retail versus full retail. You can't really do either of them yourself.
Right.
And you'd have to refinish your basement again. So I'd go outside.
Just go outside.
Yep.
Hey, all right. Well, I appreciate the advice, Jeff, and I want to tell you that honestly, like I said, I've done so many different projects around my house based off the channel. You guys changed my life. You definitely added tens of thousands of dollars to my house, and I really appreciate it. And if you're doing your tour, please come to Edmonton.
Well, we're gonna, but we can't travel with a fifth wheel in the wintertime.
Yeah.
So it have to be in better weather.
Come to Edmonton. I got so many different things I can show you that you did based on your videos. I really appreciate it.
Well, listen, I appreciate all that. And listen, we're going to make sure that we'll put a mailing address so the checks can be sent to us after we've helped you with all that. I'm just joking.
If the market doesn't tank before I sell you my house, I'll send you 1%.
Listen, I'm not going to hold you to it, but I'm glad to be able to help you guys out. That's why we do this. It's an amazing job I have to be able to help people to make money and make a living doing it. So I'm just tickled pink. Thanks for the call. All right. Good luck with everything. Cheers.
Okay, bye.
All right. Well, we're not getting very many calls about flood situations per se. If you're in New Jersey or New York, give us a call. Dying to hear from you. Maybe the Canadians are just faster with the fingers. I don't know. Hey, cheers. It's Jeff. What can I do to help you? And who am I talking to? Whoops. Sorry, I didn't hit the speaker button. Who am I talking to?
This is John Whitehall. I'm from Belleville.
From Belleville. Look, we got Canadians ruling the show tonight. This is awesome. What can we do to help you out, my friend?
I have a house that I just purchased. It's built in 1966. I have an odor in the basement. I peeled back the wood paneling, and I found a minimal amount of mold, but I can't identify what the odor is. It was minimal mold. It was about 1 square foot of mold. I can't find anything. There's there's spray foam, closed cell spray foam, so I can't see all of the block. It's very minimal.
So let me get this straight. You got a house built in the mid-60s, you said?
Yep.
And you had wood paneling.
Yeah, I peeled that back because I was going to replace a section of it. Well, I was going to replace it with sheetrock.
Okay.
And I found a little bit of mold back there. It wasn't anything substantial. I mean, we're talking about literally a square foot in a 1,600 square foot basement.
No, I get it, and that's fine. And do you have a block wall or a poured concrete foundation?
It is block. It is cinder block.
Okay. Did you see any effervescence?
Nope, nothing.
Okay. Generally, what I'm going to suggest is this: that what do you have for flooring, first of all?
The flooring that's the thing. There was carpet down there, and there was tile. It was 12 by 12. The old school tile. Like
Sure.
I think it's asbestos, but I don't think it's asbestos. It's 12 by 12.
No, it's not.
Okay.
You're fine. Yeah. Okay. So, and then the carpet's gone now, and you replaced it with what?
I didn't replace it yet. I peeled back the carpet. I just bought the house.
Okay. So then that is the source of your smell.
What is it?
The carpet.
The carpet came. I ripped it up though.
You ripped it up, and it still smells.
Yeah, I ripped it up. I have 2 dehumidifiers in there. 75.
Okay, so first of all, let's just go through this, because when you pull off the wall paneling, was there a vapor barrier on the wall?
There there, wasn't that?
Okay, so you can turn the humidifiers off. Okay,
Okay.
you would need about a dozen $5,000 commercial dehumidifiers to lower the humidity level of a basement built in 1966.
I understand that.
All right, so you're just throwing good money after bad trying to dehumidify. It won't work. All right, your house has got no vapor protection on the floor or the walls, and you can have more moisture coming through from the ground around it than your dehumidifiers can pull out. You can move almost 100 gallons an hour through a foundation wall of a house in vapor. Okay, so just give up that race. That's not happening. Now, the only thing that you can do to get rid of your stink, and the stink is really, it's just a matter of having too much humidity. Any bacteria that makes its way into that basement is going to grow and multiply and thrive, and it's going to smell. All right?
The smell is very, very sweet. Like normally when I've been in a lot of houses, normally when I get a moldy smell, it's like a musty smell.
Yeah, so there's a difference between bacteria and mold,
It smells like
right?
molasses.
Yeah, okay, sure. There's a difference between bacteria and mold. And so you're going to get different odors. But the problem is that your humidity is just so high, you can't really go refinish that with any kind of confidence, right?
Yeah.
So you have one of two choices in old basement. A, don't refinish it. B, refinish it knowing you're going to tear it out in 15 or 20 years and build it again. Or C, find a way to separate the living space of that basement from that high level of humidity. Now you can install an interior weeping French drain system with waterproofing membrane up the exterior walls. You can put in subfloor panels, okay, and then build your walls on top of that. And you can actually isolate the living space from the moisture, okay? It's very expensive to do. Or you can put in a couple of Glade plugins, put in a vapor barrier on your wall, and go with a cheap build just to get a low-cost place to live. These are the options that you got on the plate. Now, back in the 1970s, everybody put a tiki bar in the basement, and they would hang out there and watch the football game, and that's where all the husbands had to live, which is why traditionally we die younger than women, because they had the good air, we had the bad. And there's a lot of truth to that, even though it's funny. But if you want to make an actual living space in a basement that's not designed to be lived in, you've got to go through some major steps. So I'm going to suggest to you that rebuilding that basement properly, 1,000 square feet living space could probably cost you $30,000 in materials alone.
So you're saying the best way to do it would be with the interior weeping tile.
Yeah, well, depending on your house and configuration. But when the house is empty, the interior weeping tile is usually lower cost than the exterior if you have landscaping, driveway, deck, patio, right? Because you have to take it all apart and rebuild it all.
Well, the back end of the house is exposed, so I'm not going to really have to do much of the back end. It's
So
be front end.
what you would do is get quotes for both options from different companies, because you bring out company X and they'll do the quote for exterior and interior, and they're going to quote you about the same for both and let you decide, because they don't care. But if you bring in someone and say, I want you to quote on a weeping tile French drain system, and you bring in another company to quote in, I want you to quote on the exterior, then you'll get more realistic numbers and you can decide which one to go with.
Gotcha.
Right? But it is an investment. And unless you make that investment, whatever you do in that basement will not increase the value of your home. Because nobody gives a rip how pretty the basement is if it's a 1966 house, unless you've dealt with your water management issue first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, the good thing being in Canada, a lot of homes retain their value, relatively speaking. I mean, Alberta's been quite the fluctuating mess the last decade or so because we've had bad policy with our oil industry, but I get it. Right? I mean, it's hard to know. Do I put the money in or not? But I don't think it's going to get any worse out there for you.
Yeah, no, it's not that bad.
So
Yeah. Okay.
if you want to make a living space, then I put the money in or don't. But don't try to do something in halfway because it's a waste of money.
Yeah, that's why.
Makes sense?
I wanted to make sure I was doing it the right way before I did have everything built back right now, and I was sitting on it.
You got it. So find out what's your best cost option. Is it interior or exterior? They both work. They both last the same amount of time forever, right? All right. We're going to wrap this up, my friend. Good luck to you.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right.
I
Cheers.
really appreciate it. You're the man. Thank you.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right. Pardon?
Don't touch
I
that.
keep touching the table. I get like a fidgety thing going on, right? Like, oh, I love tape. All right. Guys, we're going to take 3 more calls, and then we're going to call it, okay? All right. I've worked all day, too, you know. All right, here we go. Hello.
2 more calls.
That's one. Just joking. Something must have happened there. I hit the right button, but it only rang twice, so sorry if that was you. Call back. All right. We'll try it again. Whoop, the glass is almost empty. That means the show's almost over. There we go. Hello, you reached Jeff. Who am I talking to?
Hello?
Hello, can you turn off the speaker on your other device? Because there's a huge time lag.
Okay, 1 second.
Marvelous, thank you.
There we go. Is that better?
And I love the sound of my own voice and all, but that makes it very confusing. Yeah.
Better?
It's fabulous. And so what's your name?
My name is Kelly.
Hi, Kelly. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Windsor, Ontario.
From Windsor?
Yep.
Quick question, Kelly. Did Windsor get any of this storm from Ida? Or was it just like a bad thunderstorm day?
I don't know what it was called, but we did get some storming, yes.
Yeah. Okay. We got lucky in Ontario. It almost seemed like the whole storm just passed like a 3-minute drive south of Ontario.
I did get flooded about, what was it, Mom? Was like, what, a month ago? Yeah. About
Okay.
6 months, 3 weeks, months ago, or whatever.
Well, what's your question, Kelly? First of all, how old is your house?
It is 101 years old.
101. I can't help you. I only deal with homes up to 100 years old. Just joking. All right.
No, but actually,
Shoot.
what I was going to call in and make a suggestion if he hasn't looked into a product called Zypex, then just look into it. It's a product similar to concrete. You mix it up, you spread it on really thin, like a 1/16 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, over the course of about 20 to 25 days. It seeps into all the micro cracks that are in the concrete
Oh, really?
and forms crystals.
Okay.
And anytime any kind of moisture touches them, they swell and they stop hydrostatic pressure.
You know, and I've actually been experienced and exposed to some of these products in the past. The biggest issue I have is that they're rather inconsistent with real life application. So I can never really bank on it. And unfortunately, because of my audience is all over the country and the world, really, I can't make recommendations like that. But I appreciate it. Did you try it in your house?
What I was going to say was that this particular company actually, they put it on dams, cisterns, pools.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it originally was from, they made it here in Ontario. Between here and Toronto, they made it a small little town anyway.
Sure.
Now
But all I know is that I'm not familiar with the product. And if anybody from the company is listening and they want to send me some literature, I'd be happy to read it. All right. Or if you wanted to forward me an email or something, that'd be great. I'd be happy to check it out. But I can't comment or make a recommendation based on that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
I just thought perhaps you would want to just look into it.
I would love to. I mean, I think it's fabulous because construction technology has got to change. Because did you know that half the homes made in North America were built before 1980? And that's before we even had an understanding of that we needed to control vapor barriers. We didn't even know that there was such a thing as airborne water, sorry. And so, yeah, we have a lot to do. So it'd be nice if someone could solve that problem because there are literally a couple 100 million homes that don't have adequate protection against water vapor. And it'd be nice if we could solve that problem. So thanks for the call. I appreciate the information.
Alrighty.
All right. You have yourself a great day.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, guys. If you got questions about your house, your flood specifically, call in. All right. Hey, 2 left to go. This is 2. Hello, it's Jeff from Home Renovision. How can I help you?
Hi, Jeff. This is Ling, and I'm in New Jersey.
Oh, thank God, because the Canadians have been burning up the phone line tonight.
Been trying to reach you. So we did have a minor sewage backup in our basement.
Okay, so hold on a second. Let me ask you this. What is a minor sewage backup?
I guess like less than 4 feet compared to other people.
Okay, so yeah, a lot of times it depends on gravity, right? Because like
Yeah.
there are a lot of areas where you have hills, and if you're at the bottom of the hill, your basement will totally fill.
Mhm.
Like unfortunately, there's that tragic story of the mother and her son, and they filled up so fast they couldn't escape, right?
Yeah.
So you got 4 feet of sewage.
No, I only got 1 feet.
Well, you got 1 foot of sewage. Okay, well that's manageable. And so the demonstration that we're doing here on the wall would be really good for you, right?
Uh-huh.
You're going to cut the wall to 4 feet and restore. Did you see the last week's video?
Yeah, I saw it.
Good.
I was wondering, the wood is pretty dry now.
Of course.
I have
takes-
the wood meter. It's about a 10.
Oh my God, you're in great shape then. So you only need to get to 16, so you're good.
Okay, so do I need to tear out the about 2 feet of all the wood if it doesn't look warped?
No, wood doesn't need to be torn out. It can be treated. Last week's video we talked about
the
the wall board has to go.
Okay, wallboard has to go.
Yeah, sorry, the wall board has to go. If you had sewage in your basement, the wall board has to go.
Mhm.
And here's why.
All right.
Because the bacteria that's in that sewage water is currently residing in behind the wall board as well.
Okay.
And it might take a little bit of time. It might take a month or so, but it'll start stinking like you won't even believe, right? It'll be like CSI showing up at a decomp at somebody's apartment that died a month ago. It'll stink that bad. So you can't take this for granted and go, oh, we got lucky. We only had a little bit of water. Maybe we can just dry it out and paint it and walk away. No, you've got to open the wall. You've got to clean it up.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you so much.
There's just no other way around it. I'm sorry to tell you. Now you can cut it 2 feet if you wanted to keep your costs down a little bit. Save some drywall. It's just a lot more work because then you got to do all your taping bent over. That's why I recommend to follow the advice from the video from last week. Okay? You can restore your house. Drywall and insulation in the bottom half of the basement only runs you around about $1,000 for all the drywall and insulation and plastic. It's not a lot of money. Okay? And you can follow my steps and you can be successful in turning your house back into a home again.
All right.
All right?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for the call. I'm glad to hear that your damage was minimal, but you still have to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
All right. I'll start on that. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Last call, guys. One more. Anybody from New York? No? We got Jersey. We got Windsor. We got Mississauga. We got Edmonton. We got Brockville tonight. Man, oh man. All right. All right. You're our last call tonight. It's Jeff. Who am I talking to?
Alex
Alex, it is. Where are you from, Alex?
from Wisconsin.
From Wisconsin. Now, the best that I can remember, we didn't get a hurricane in Wisconsin. What can I do to help you tonight?
Well, I just bought my house back in June, and I noticed there was a smoke smell. I tried cleaning the carpets and putting baking soda around the house.
Yeah.
What do you recommend?
Now, smoke smell meaning like cigarette smoke or like a fire residue?
Like a cigarette smoke.
Okay. And so you want to know what's the best way to get rid of cigarette smoke?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm for the first time in a long time, I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember the product. Okay, listen. What I want you to do is I want you to do a Google search, okay? Put in fire restoration wholesale suppliers in Wisconsin. These are companies no one knows about, but they exist in every city, okay? And you call them up and you say, my house smells like smoke. I want to get rid of the odor. And they've got a product that you can use that will totally eliminate all that smoke smell. All right?
Okay.
All right, so if you just Google that, fire restoration wholesale suppliers, there'll be a company in town, and you can call them up and they'll be like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And they'll sell to the public. You don't need a special license to buy this stuff. All right?
Okay, thank you.
And you'll be able to.
all the time.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it. I hope it's helpful.
Yep. Thank you again.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Yep.
Bye-bye. All right. There we go. See this, Christina? This is how it's done, right? Boom. Bam. Huh? No more phone calls. All right. Wow. That was entertaining. Guys, I love taking phone calls. It's fun. Don't forget, if you're in a position to help American Red Cross, okay, because there's a lot of people who are living in basements, renting, who don't have insurance, who are just, I don't know where they are right now. Like, I don't know. Beats me, but they're hard up. They don't have insurance for their contents. It's going to be an interesting Christmas trying to rebound from that. When you're broke, this can be incredibly devastating, right? When you own a house, you got an asset, you generally can bounce back pretty decently because, let's face it, basements aren't that expensive to finish half of it. You're going to spend more money on your flooring. That's why next week you need to watch our next live show. Okay? Next week, we're going to be talking about what kind of flooring to put in your basement. Your systems. We dealt with the wall system. Next week, we talk about the floor system. You can't just put anything in there. If you're not going to go and buy yourself the backflow preventer, you've got to buy a floor that you can afford to throw out and replace again. Because the last thing you want to do is have to make an insurance claim every time one of these storms hits. You don't want to be the guy 10 years from now going, wow, we've had 4 storms in the last 6 years. I don't have insurance. Now I'm screwed, right? And then your house burns down. Good luck to you. Got to play smart, right? 3 strikes and you're out. This is real baseball, baby. Get the backflow prevention valve system installed, or be smart and renovate your basement cheap, because it put garbage in because it's garbage out. You can afford to throw it away if it happens again. All right. That's my best advice. If you're not going to invest and go all in, then go cheap. All right. That's it for me today. Thanks everybody for joining. Thanks for joining us on TikTok. Thanks for joining us on YouTube. And remember, if you live in a neighborhood where everybody else got flooded and you didn't, don't be afraid to knock on their door and say, hey, do you need a hand helping install some drywall? Because really, drywall is a 2-man job. All right. Be kind to each other. We'll see you again next week at the live show, Monday at 5 o'clock. We're going to be talking about how to finish these projects off, what kind of flooring you should be putting in your house, all the different options, all the different systems. And again, we'll take some live calls next week as well for people, because we're doing this. Wow, we did the first video a week after the tragedy struck, after Ida. We're 2 weeks after now, and people are still wondering if they need to tear their basement walls out. I'm telling you right now, if you're in that situation, the answer is yes. It's going to stink. If you don't believe me, just wait till next week. And then you can start watching the series from scratch, because you're going to need it. Anyway, cheers. We love you. Cheers from Canada. We'll get through this. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.